go, let's go, let's go. It's your man Mike Bowens coming to you once again live and direct. I'm coming to you with another powerful message. This message is entitled Pleasure versus Principle. Pleasure versus Principle. Now I'm going to dive right into it. You know, oftentimes we say we want this and we want that and we want a better life, but I'm going to break it down for you. When you are a person who is driven by pleasure, then you will always miss God's best for you. Because when you are in love with pleasure, you love sleep more than hard work. You love sleep more than what you said you was going to do. You love sleep more than putting dedication into your craft. You love sleep more than what you're supposed to be doing. See, when you are locked in to principle, even when you're tired, you'll get up and do what you have to do. Even when you feel like giving up, you'll keep going because you are operating by principle and not just pleasure. Pleasure is only when it feels good am I going to do it. Only when it feels good am I going to trust God. Only when things are working the way that I feel they should be working am I going to continue to do it. That's pleasure. But when you operate by principle, even when it does not feel good, even when it does not look like things are going to work out in your favor, even when you get a negative report from the doctor, you still continue to trust God for your healing. Even when it looks like your money's a little funny, right? You still continue to believe God and put into action by faith so that your finances can change around, right? But you got to operate by some principles. And the principles that I'm talking about is that you operate by faith even when it looks like you should doubt. I'm talking about you operate with vision, right? Seeing something before it happens, right? That's the principle that I really want to focus on for this message, is that you got to have a vision. See, I don't care how much you say you're going to do this, how much you're going to say you're going to do that, how much people supporting you, but until you have a vision of where you see yourself going and what you desire to do and what you feel like God called you to do, then guess what? You're never going to accomplish it. Because when it gets cold, you're going to lay in that bed. Even when the alarm goes off, you're going to hit the snooze. When things start to go wrong and life punch you in the face, then guess what? You're going to just be a type of person who quits, like majority of people do. But I want you to know that when you operate by principle and you have a vision of where you want to go and what you want to accomplish and what you want to do, listen, it could be cold outside, but you're going to get up and do what you have to do because you see it already, right? You could be unemployed right now, but you see yourself a millionaire. You could be working at somebody's company, but you see yourself having your own business, okay? You can see your family in disarray, but you see your family, right, coming together, right? And by faith, you begin to act it out. You begin to trust God and begin to act it out what you believe, right? That's the question that we got to ask ourselves. What do I see, right? And oftentimes, how the enemy works is, especially when you live in impoverished situations, right? If that's all you see around you, right? And nobody seems to be getting no breaks. Nobody around you seems to be making it. Nobody around you seems to be thriving. Then what happens is it can play on your psyche. And you can start to believe the lies of the devil, right? Instead of you having a vision. That's why it's important to have vision walls. That's why it's important to meditate on it every day. You know, I heard somebody say, you know, oftentimes you shouldn't put no pictures around, nothing in your house, in your office, in your car, nothing that does not inspire you, right? You need to put up pictures of things that inspire you, places you have never been to that you want to go to, things that you want to accomplish and achieve in life, right? And that principle will drive you. That principle will push you. That principle will motivate you. That principle will cause you to trust God in a new way. See, so many people are miserable. They hate their lives. They hate their jobs. And they wake up every day and you can look in their face and see the countenance that they are miserable. They hate their lives, but they don't take the time to make the necessary steps to change it. They haven't been taught that you need a vision, that you can be in a job that you don't like, but use it as motivation to see yourself going to where you want to go. You could be living in a neighborhood that you don't want to live in, driving a car that you don't want to drive, but you see yourself, right, having the best, living the best, right? Your body you can have diabetes right now, but once you get a vision of yourself being healthy, right, and through proper dieting and through prayer, God can help reverse that diabetes so that you never have that ever again in your life. But you got to get a vision. You got to see yourself doing better. You got to see yourself in 5 years. You got to see yourself in 10 years. You got to see yourself in 15 years. You got to see yourself in 20 years down the line. Okay? I want you to see yourself in the next year. How is life going to be different for you in the next year? Okay? But if you don't have that hunger, if you don't have that thirst, if you don't have that drive to make these changes, to get a vision of where you want to be, then nothing's going to motivate you. Nothing's going to push you. Everything is going to be, que sera, sera. Whatever will be. Right? But you got to get to the point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you don't want life the way that it is. Right? You want better. You want everything that God has for you. And the only way to do that is, guess what? Have a vision. Before I close out this message, I want to go into this next phase of this message and tell you, out of all of the animals, right, that God has created, what separates man from animals is that God gave man the ability to have an imagination. And because man has an imagination, that means you could be in the worst possible circumstances, but you can imagine yourself doing better. You can imagine yourself having more. You can imagine yourself being healthy. You can imagine yourself living in your dream home. You can imagine yourself driving your dream car. You can imagine yourself worshiping God, right? And getting out of the situation that you're in. But until you begin to make yourself think yourself into a new position, right? Then guess what? Things will continue to be the same, right? It's a true saying that you can't continue to do the same things and get different results. Well, I'm going to tell you this also. You can't continue to see the same things in your mind and then in the physical see something different. You got to see it in your mind so that you can create it in reality, right? I hope this message encourage somebody to get a vision and operate by that principle, and then you will never be in lack. You will never be on the bottom. You will always be on the top, because you will not be a person who is driven by pleasure, but you will be a person who is driven by principle. This is your man, Mike Bowens, and I'm signing off until next time saying, be blessed.